Similarly, the Bendel Brewery Limited, which was a beehive of economic activities in 2008, has since gone under the hammer of Oshiomhole's mismanagement and lack of attention. Over 2,000 workers have been sent home, just as several others have been dispatched to their untimely grave due to lack of care. The Nigerian Observer, that was revived in 2000 by Governor Lucky Igbenedion and sustained by Governor Oshiomhole Osumbo, is now completely run down due to government neglect of the flagship newspaper company. The same fate has befallen Edo Line Transport Company Limited, that was closed down by Governor Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole in 2009 because the workers protested against the poor working conditions in the place and unpaid salaries.
26 months, no salary. My landlord now, he doesn't want to pack my load out. As I tell you now, my wife not there with me again. No money to even, not give her the reason. So it's waiting with a beggar for me can't give us food.
If Oshiomhole's administration finds it difficult to keep the industries he inherited afloat, how then can he conceptualize or build new ones? Pipes supplied to the state government through the African Development Bank many years ago for Benin Waterworks have been fraudulently sold on the orders of the governor, and the proceeds shared by the governor and his cronies.
Pray, oh God! Lord, you said they shall surely gather, but not by you. They that gather against Israel will defeat their power.
Again, this is a case of his actions being inconsistent with his perceived antecedent. A labor man ordinarily should be a friend of the workers and will struggle to keep industries alive at all costs. Sadly, soon after Oshiomhole assumed office, he burnt the ladder with which he climbed into Dennis Osadebe Avenue. One after the other, Oshiomhole either chased away or abandoned all those that assisted him to realize his goal to become the governor of Edo State. Edo workers in Edo State have taken solace in Al Capone's statement that a friend in power is a friend lost. We totally disagree with Governor Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole that the state finance is poor because his brazen spending habit on insignificant activities in the state betrays his claim. Several weeks after the opposition People's Democratic Party, led by Chief Dan Obi, displayed some government vouchers for foreign trips ranging from 22 million naira for 10 members of the assembly, 22 million naira for chief of staff and some aides, and 134 million naira that he approved for a 3-day visit to Chicago, USA, Edo people have not seen or heard any rebuttal of the documents. Aside from these, Oshiomhole and Godwin Obaseki collected 14 million naira and 17 million naira for picnic in New York and Miami, Florida, USA. Oshiomhole also gave 76 million naira and 66 million naira to Buhari and Tinubu as fees for cutting tape during the commissioning of some projects in the state. Oshiomhole has kept suspicious silence, which is unlike him. We are also disturbed that Oshiomhole, in his attempt to look for headings that he can use to defraud the state, claims to have repaired a toilet in government house with 10,048,000 naira. This is most embarrassing. How can Edo people believe or sympathize with Governor Oshiomhole when he is spending the state's taxpayers' money to fund the presidential campaign of the APC candidate? How can Edo State judiciary workers give up on their demand for financial autonomy when the news of how Comrade Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole lost a whopping $500 million naira to Bola Tinubu's boys in his desperate bid to be nominated running mate to General Buhari?
Where the judiciary staff have resumed work, they are in their different offices, still trying to settle down one or two things. But I think this is an ill wind that has not blown anybody any good at all. Government should learn to be responsible and obey court orders so that everybody can live peacefully.
While waiting patiently for Oshiomhole's last day in office, when his immunity would have lapsed, Edo people demand to know how Kaki Master acquired properties all over the world. It is the people's right to know. Although Governor Oshiomhole has tried very hard to downplay the fact that since becoming governor, he has acquired a more expensive taste, we caution him to be guided by history that it will be difficult for him to enjoy the comfort of his luxurious homes even after leaving office. The current travails of looters of public funds should serve him as hard lessons. In the spirit of our manifest benevolence, Edo people may find a place in their heart to forgive Oshiomhole if he declares all such hidden properties now. Nigerians are stunned that despite his earlier comments that the army is a guarantee for peaceful elections, Oshiomhole is now condemning the idea of deploying soldiers to provide security at elections. For the avoidance of doubt, this is what Governor Oshiomhole said in his broadcast to the people of Edo State.
All those routes put joint military police patrol to block and to inspect any vehicle that is going to Central, whether through Edo South, through the East, through the River Niger, all those routes. I read this morning, Honorable Minister Godidabe say whether we want to use the military to rig.
The army is here to deal with troublemakers. The only people who need to be worried are those who intend to cause trouble. As the governor of Edo State, I believe we need the army to complement the efforts of the police. I remember that under our Operation Thunderstorm, the army has been involved in complementing the efforts of the police to provide internal security. So don't allow anybody to fool you that army is going to harass you to prevent you from voting. No, the army is here to assist you so that your vote will count. Now, Nigerians will want to know from Oshiomhole and his APC leaders what has changed. Edo people are embarrassed by Governor Oshiomhole's unpredictable character and his scheming nature. We recall with grief and concern how Governor Oshiomhole was hired to fight alongside PDP against the Nigeria Labour Congress and Nigerians in 2011. His craftiness and deception caught up with him as the Trade Union Congress and his Action Congress of Nigeria condemned him for abandoning them mid-sea. Chief Jide Awe of ACN in Ekiti State referred to Oshiomhole as a confused man over a statement that Nigeria will collapse if fuel subsidy is not removed. Mr. Adams is confused. If you see what happened in Edo State, you will know that Oshiomhole did not speak on behalf of his people. The TUC chairman in Ekiti State, Comrade Kolawole Olaya, in anger described Oshiomhole as a betrayal. He said, Oshiomhole's acceptance to serve in the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program Board meant he was against the masses. He added that Oshiomhole has joined the political leaders to rob the workers of their welfare. Any more doubt that Oshiomhole is a master of deception? Governor Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole rode to power on the wings of a doctrine of one man, one vote, and the state even spent huge resources to launch the campaign prior to his re-election in 2012. But the outcome of the local government council elections conducted in 2013 by Oshiomhole further exposed him as a man that lacks the capacity to keep to his promise. The crisis that greeted the election threw the state into confusion. More disgraceful was the abracadabra that took place in Esan Northeast, the stronghold of Chief Tony Anini. Voting was still ongoing when Governor Oshiomhole compelled the chairman of Edo State Electoral Commission to announce a fabricated result. The situation in his Etsako West local government turned tragic when factional ACN members cited the governor at the polling center. Oshiomhole, who drove himself in his cowboy Wrangler Jeep, scampered away in the midst of gunshots and shouts of Oshiomhole Ole, thief that rented the air. Governor Oshiomhole's rhetoric of accusing PDP of election rigging reminds us of the case of Kettle calling pot black. It is instructive to note that the crisis in Edo State APC were caused by Governor Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole's desire to rig his preferred persons into elective office. According to Comrade Governor, a political miscreant is a politician that doesn't play by the rule. Going by his definition, Nigerians are safe to call Oshiomhole a miscreant, since he ordered ACN leaders to work against Malam Nuhu Ribadu, the ACN presidential candidate in 2011. Edo people are known for their heterogeneous but unique culture hinged on respect for elders and traditional institutions. It is in this context that we find Governor Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole's desire to insult elders, some old enough to be his father, without restraint, out of place.
Road to be tied for that red roof to come. People like someone that has a house from one street to the end. That all those people that have big houses in Jerry, they are the one that will pay.
In that same city, you have one man who occupies 10,000 square meters. From the end of the street to the other. That is what Philip said, of which they want to crucify him. The truth must be told. I'm a Catholic.
That in its essence has defeated the credibility of such a bill. Because certain personalities were targeted, and it's against the rule of the bill, it's against the norm of the parliament, it's against the sanctity of the parliament. And for me, such a law is ineffective. Well, I think the error has been made. I will advise the assembly, which is my primary concern, to go back into their share.
Oshiomhole needs to be reminded that the track of the elephant cancels those of the antelope. When the breeze blows on November 12, 2016, the ugly nyash of a dirty fowl will be exposed. A word of wisdom for the emperor in Osadebe Avenue. A man who listens to the voice of the elderly is like a strong tree. The one who turns a deaf ear is like a twig in the wind. A twig in the wind, Oshiomhole now seems, with the harvest of protest against the APC administration in Edo State. Every day, different interest groups, market women, teachers, students, lawyers, drivers, and even insane persons are leading protests against a governor that has ruled our people with so much deception. Lawrence Olivier, the poet, may have had Governor Adams Aliyu Oshiomhole in mind when he wrote, "If you can fake sincerity, you can fake anything." In the final analysis, it is instructive for Governor Adams Oshiomhole to note that when a tyrant dies, his rule is over. When a martyr dies, his rule begins.
Who wanna know on the land?